So Erda asked what you guys are going to do as May has not come back yet. You now have more information than May does about what's going on, and May said she wouldn't be gone long. She went to go grab some things and she was supposed to come back. So
Right.
Erda
Like
asked
that
what you're going to do.
like that being the case, I thought not a lot of time had passed because I thought the bread fort and the other bit had just been like I could have sworn she had been around for something, but whatever. Felt like not a lot of in character time had passed. I don't like considering he was literally just down there to discuss shit and what have you. Like, I don't know, whatever. An hour and a half has already passed, which is way more time than DeHawk would have passed unless he got distracted, which, I mean,
Redford.
I guess the Red Fort would have been distracting, but, like, whatever. That being pointed out, well, he wouldn't panic, but he, how would he phrase this? It's already been how long? Fuck. Alright, we're leaving. Now. At that point, he'd immediately get up and leave for the tent.
And me and Urta go with him.
Heading out into the city street. Much as I described it for Lil's End last time, but there's huddles of people talking. You get a very similar vibe to the bar. Everyone seems to be keeping to themselves and being really uncomfortable. The only one being boisterous in the street is guards, who see nothing wrong. You guys make your way over to where the tents were, neatly packed up and folded by the side. You find them just laying by the tree that Erda and Lil spent the night up in.
Well, there was only one tent.
A tent bedding, it's all just rolled there. Camping gear.
Yeah, huh.
It seems undisturbed.
Uh-huh. So, here's the other problem with us trying to reconnect with her. That's a survival roll?
Mm,
None of us except her have survival? I don't think any of us are gonna successfully track her or him, especially since both of those people were being stealthy.
Hmm. I mean, for tracking, yeah, it would be survival. But to start looking for clues, you could use investigation.
Okay.
I'll roll investigation.
Erdo will help any investigation check made. Thing is, she can't actually get down and investigate herself without, cover.
Yeah, yeah. I got an 8.
So 10.
Uh,
Uh,
she can only whatever.
I got like 13 with my investigation modifier.
All right, so 15 total is plus 2. Erda is
Yep.
assisting. Grants both the plus 2. 15 is high enough to notice some of the boot movement on the ground. Not a lot of it, but enough to tell that there was somebody here, and then they trailed off toward the woods.
Someone was going through this too. Looks like.
Pretty quick and efficient considering we only just got off the beach. Like, not a lot of time has really passed.
At least an hour. You can do a lot of things in a minute.
Yeah, it's been an hour and a half. Like,
Well,
we,
yeah, but
well, like, there's a bunch of things. First, since evidently more in-character time has passed than I thought, when did the boat with the Inquisitor even arrive here? When did we find out about that?
last session.
Yes, when? When last session? How long ago do we know that the Inquisitor made landfall?
You guys came back to the inn before any boat set off of the main ship.
Thank you.
Erdo was just trying to explain that that's a lot of time that you guys didn't witness happen where somebody was already in the rooms, had already tossed them aside, and was already making their way out into the town.
Okay. Right. That happened. Forgot about that part. That was important.
All those wanted posters.
Uh, you're the only one who saw the wanted poster actually said, and you elected
No,
to not.
we were all there when one got slid underneath the door.
Yes, it didn't matter to anyone but May, and May didn't share the information.
I literally
So it
put both of them on the table.
Right, but only you could see the new
May.
information.
Yes,
Oh.
Lil, that's the point. Your character knows what those things actually say, but you kept it to yourself. So all it meant to us was that a guard was sharing the posters, which means nothing to any of us. Because, like, yeah, we specifically were given it, but it's not like they would have kept track of which people belong to which room. They just hand out posters to every room to make sure everybody was aware. Like, when you don't share information, you're the only one who has it.
Fine.
I know.
Anyway, okay, yes, that's alright. I needed to know the timing of things, so he had made it there before we even had. Well, it's been about 90 minutes since May separated from us, and the Inquisitor arrived at our room before any of us made it here. Or, not here. To them. That means whoever the fuck this man is, he probably's been here for hours. That's more than enough time to ransack our room, come out here, find the tent, and then I assume he was here at roughly the same time May was, and he left. I'm not a tracker. She's our only tracker. I don't know what we do here. I don't think we can follow either of them, since she would have been trying to lose him and he would have been trying to lose her.
Hmm.
That said, unless you have an option, We need to go save your husband.
We should probably get heading through the woods. I
He
know
nods.
my way lightly through the forest. Not really the most optimal path, but I know the way.
Oh, you
Then we should
fool! You added add a gay rat back.
It's
then we should get going now.
He nods. Also, is going through the woods more direct than just following the path? The rats seem to have stopped assaulting people on the path.
I mean, we haven't seen anyone come from Kavzar yet. Only go to.
That's a problem once we reach Kavzar, not on the way to it.
Right. Spells is like don't think it does. Alright. She waits for you guys to walk a little ways into the wood before reverting into her human form. That way she can walk and point on her own.
Okay.
And she begins to lead you through the wood. She casts haste on the party. That'll get you incredibly far, but it'll help catch up to speed.
Yeah, whatever. It means double time.
Yeah.
Before we actually go into the woods, or not that, but once she hastes us, Dahak points out, this is a much better plan if we run. Running through the woods is going to be more difficult than just running along the path.
Hmm.
You can change back into a rat and get on one of us. It's just going to be a better idea for us to get back onto the pass and run at double speed.
She gives you a nod. After casting, she goes back to Zephyr's shoulder and she tells you that she'll keep a lookout.
Appreciated.
I nod to her and we head back for the path.
And run as soon as we get there, which takes very little time since we've been hasted.
Oh yeah, you're flying.
Uh-huh.
Gotta go fast as fuck, boy.
Planning on doing dashing all the way there for that 1 hour of haste.
Yep.
Better be
I'll go
careful because
fast.
as soon as that haste wears off, you're gonna be having a level of exhaustion.
The point is to get there fast.
I know.
Meh.
Just letting you know.
Nobody objected to the plan, so
Using the I was gonna say busted haste. Using haste and dashing, you guys are able to reach the lakefront within an hour, which was normally a 3.5 hour walk. This puts you a pretty good way through the woods. You still got about 6 hours ahead of you. On your way through the woods, it was almost dead quiet. You didn't hear any animals, no chirping, no leaves breaking, just dead silence. I'd like everyone to make a perception check as you guys are going.
It- 13.
Dahak.
17.
Alrighty. As you are running through the woods, you and Erda both Dahak and Erda occasionally catch the glint of red eyes. This is not something Dahak is completely unfamiliar with, though they make no attempt to interfere with you. you do see them off in the distance, watching.
Oh, I
Erda
can't
points it
claim
out to
more gay
Zephyr.
rats than 3.
Where the hell do you want them?
On the person carrying the gayest rat.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'll be back. I just got to use the bathroom.
And be carrying a gay rat. And you guys really just want to play Stacker today, huh?
Well, no, I don't want them all stacked. It looks fucking stupid. Like, put one on his head and one on each shoulder.
Alright. Lil, where do you want them?
Stacked on top of Tarragon.
Did I microsize the rats, or...
Yes.
Me. Put one on top of the hawk. Tiny one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Aw,
See,
don't sneeze.
I smell a rat.
There's a third one. There's a third tiny one.
Oh, I didn't see the third tiny one. Where'd you want it?
On top of Tarragon again.
There you go.
Oh, okay. There it is.
And Merrick just BRB'd, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, Lil.
Meh.
So it's roughly about this time that you also start to reach the lakefront area. Not quite lining up with your party in any way, shape, or form.
Because the lake is huge.
The lake is huge. And you're running for the side that specifically has the traps, which Erda would have no intention on leading the party toward.
Yep.
Also, does the path to town even cross the lake? It was under my impression that the lake is
No.
not actually on the way to town.
No, it just
it-
passes by it really close.
Yeah, it passes
Okay,
by
I'm back.
close, and the side that Lil's on is the farthest end, which you wouldn't really go to, but there's a
Right.
path adjoining them because it goes further south. Also, welcome back. He is still in hot pursuit of you, staying within the 150 feet. At this time,
Very
your
interesting.
heartbeat has worn off. You can no longer openly sense his presence. You do have him marked, though, until its duration expires.
Being able to have advantage on survival checks to track him, I would be able to tell how closer he's getting to me just by hearing his footsteps in the brush, right?
You wouldn't necessarily be able to.
I mean, you're not exactly
have,
tracking, you're running.
you're that, but also advantage doesn't mean you always succeed.
I know.
He's just stating it so that I know that he has it. I don't mind it. She.
They.
pick one.
Hey, sorry.
Also, I would like those answers from the DM because that's the rule.
Again, can't exactly track them from your current position because you are not in a tracking, you are in a fleeing. Being
True,
said,
but
based on the sounds of him not actually hiding himself and keeping up with you and having an idea of where he is, you know that he is behind you and you know that he is slowly closing that distance.
well, animals in the wild draw reference to what they're fleeing from by just being able to take small glimpses of the pursuing creature that's following them. Like a deer looking over its shoulder when it hears a hunter
And
trying
that's
to get to
fine,
it.
but not
Yeah.
tracking.
I know it's not tracking. It's just keeping an
You have
like
you have awareness. It's roughly
awareness of it.
150
Yeah.
feet.
All right.
He is gaining.
Very surprising, seeing as I don't think he is a ranger. It's either he has something to magically keep him from getting hindered by difficult terrain, or he's a ranger.
Yeah, like I don't think Inquisitor is an actual class in this edition, so I imagine he is a ranger. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the same kind of concept as like a bandit. Like Inquisitor isn't a
Oh
class;
no,
it's
that's a
just
homebrew.
it's
Okay.
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just looking over all the classes again.
He might
It's
not even have
Inquisitor
class
is not one.
abilities.
at
He
this
might not even
point.
have class abilities.
This point, you're entering the area that your traps are in.
Actually, that's a good question. Like, she saw him last session. What race did he appear to be?
Shadows. He had a very
Got it.
wide brim hat, so I didn't get to see his face. The trees that are around here, are they close enough for me to, uh, what was it? With my acrobatics, I have a reasonable, what do you call it? Uh,
Describe.
Mhm.
would I be able to jump from tree to tree if I were to climb up to the trees?
Yes, but you'd be losing speed.
Yeah, you have to climb first. We are not capable of climbing as fast as we are capable of walking or running.
And because of your ability, you're faster moving through your natural terrain, but
Yep.
you still have to account for jumping if you're going to go tree from tree.
Well, seeing as he's gaining speed on me in my natural territory,
I don't think he is. As
he
far as it was worded, I thought Dylan said he's just been keeping it roughly 100 feet or 150 feet.
Yes, but last session he was at 200 feet. He is gaining.
Oh, okay.
so he'd be on me if he decides to dash 2 turns. Because of how fast he has been.
Right, I missed the part where he was 200 before.
So my only chance is to lose him in the trees and to keep kiting him like I have been, or to get to where my traps are, go into the deeper side of the forest and try to lure that monster that almost caught me because he doesn't know that's there.
Presumably.
Um, um,
Ha ba ba
um,
ba.
Hapatagata.
I'm going to roll acrobatics to climb a tree. Or what would it be for climbing a tree again? Is it just half
Athletics.
movement?
Well,
Athletics,
if
right?
it's a skill check, it would be athletics. If
Yeah.
it's just movement, then it's less movement than normal, but movement.
It would be half movement ascending.
Yep.
So if I decide to dash, I would be able to move 30 feet up a tree. And I would have to succeed in my athletics, but because I'm in a hurry, I'll probably have disadvantage on it.
What are the
Is that a accurate
Yeah.
assumption, Dylan? All right. This disadvantage trying to climb a tree. Um, First one was a natural 20, and the second one was an 18, so that makes that a 19.
Right? You are able to climb the tree. Successful.
Like a scared squirrel, scurries up the tree and tucks Tarragon into my collar to make sure he's safe. Um, because I've used my full movement, I'd have to catch my breath up in this branch. He's still like like 100 feet away from me, right?
By the time you get up the tree, probably about 100, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take a breather then, just for a moment, and then I'm gonna keep running.
Well, jumping, really.
Yep. If
So,
he decides to do something at range, I'm going to try and shoot and move.
So I want a clarification on what you did last session because I know you
Hmm.
changed your mind. Did you keep your boots on?
As soon as I realized that he was tracking me with them, I threw them.
Okay.
And then I bound my feet with the rest of my gauze bandages.
That also explains why he caught up with it. A round to bandage each foot.
Yep.
Still 10 feet closer than he should be, but keeping pace.
The way that I was running, I'd like to
Uh,
imagine that I was like a doe running on the tips of my toes.
Since you stop to take a breather, you get to notice something a little unique about what he's doing.
Meh.
Since I know you'll be intently focusing on his direction, roll a perception with advantage.
That's because of Hunter's Mark. I just dropped one of my dice. Yeah.
And
If I'm
yes,
not
it is.
mistaken, Hunter's Mark gives me perception and survival
If it
advantage.
does, then roll it. If it doesn't, then don't.
All right. 19. Wait. I need to add my perception. That makes that 24.
So, this the whole time you assumed he was walking after you.
Right.
Each time you stare at him, he blinks forward. 40 feet at a time.
That's
Oh shit!
otherworldly.
Oh shit! He's a weeping angel.
Every time I blink, he just blinks as well. God, that's
uh,
terrifying.
As you're in the tree watching, you realize that if you don't get down and start moving, he will be on top of you by the time you get down this tree in a turn. Like, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take out my bow, draw an arrow. Well, first I want to serrate the tip of it with the knife quickly, and then I want to shoot his ankle, trying to embed the arrow into the ground.
Survival disadvantage. You're in a hurry.
yeah, like since you're in a hurry, I think it'd probably just be better to shoot him with a normal arrow.
13.
You are unable to properly serrate your arrow.
That's fine, just as long as it gets through his ankle and pins him to the ground.
That's gonna depend on
I'm
your roll to hit.
aiming specific. I'm aiming specifically for like the what that little joint in his foot, and I'm trying to lodge it into a log behind him.
It's going to cancel disadvantage, by the way, unless you specifically wait for him to stop blinking.
I'm gonna time it. I'm gonna wait for when he gets, when he finishes his next blink, and then shoot him.
If not worded correctly, he's going blink, blink, blink. There's not really a second in between. You barely
I
have time
know,
to notice him moving.
but there's a trajectory to his blinking that's noticeable because he's heading straight for
Mm,
me.
in a way, yes. The reason
So
I
if he
ask,
continues his straight line, the next time that he moves 40 feet is just going to be directly 40 feet in front of him.
yeah, that's a fair assumption. I was gonna say that because you're trying to shoot something that is blinking, it's going to cancel out your advantage to hit because you're going to be shooting at a disadvantage to hit.
Not unless I'm aiming for where he's going to end up.
It would cancel
The
it out. It would
DM
just be a
says it
shot to
cancels
hit.
out, so it cancels out. You
All right,
roll
fair
a
enough.
single d20.
Fair enough.
So he blinks and he comes within 35 feet.
Because I was waiting for him to reappear. As soon as he comes within my sight line, I let my arrow loose.
Roll to hit.
20, non-critical.
All right. It
That's
does
with.
still count as stealth. You just didn't get advantage on the shot
All right. That's fair enough.
because your position's unknown.
Exactly. Um, I'm looking for my dice. I think I might have to roll it because I have to do a D8 plus 5 and Hunter's Marks D6 and then the 2d6 worth of sneak attack damage. Where's the dice spot? There it is. Boom. 21 points of damage.
All right.
Piercing.
And with a high enough hit, you are able to pin him to the ground, even if only temporarily. He stops, and his gaze follows the trajectory of the arrow up.
I immediately dash and use my my movement to jump to the next tree.
Hang on a second.
Acrobatics.
I do
right?
need you to make an acrobatics, and I want you to hang on for a second while I read something. At disadvantage.
You fucker. I just rolled a 20.
So,
That's an
like
11.
I guess it's your call, Dylan, but athletics also includes jumping.
It does. I'm going to allow it because he's interrupting it.
Acrobatics. For jumping,
Then again, I guess acrobatics stunts mentions that.
So, Lil,
I don't know.
meh,
DM discretion
I'm going
definitely.
to have you make a dex save to figure out whether you stay in the tree or not, as a 4th level magic missile whizzes at you.
What
The
is the magic?
force,
I'm
the force
absolutely
of the
loving.
bolts hitting you is going to be enough to counterbalance your jump because it's force damage.
Because it's force damage, yeah. That hurts a lot. As these percussive darts hit me and kind of displace me in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, how much damage? Because those do damage. They don't
They
just kill.
do. I'm
I
rolling it.
know. So as these darts of percussive force kind of displace me, I reach out and grab the branch that I wanted to reach, like to reach before, and grip it with a non-natural 20
For your dex save?
and use the yep for my dex save.
Okay.
Actually, no, wait, that would be a 22. I was following acrobatics.
All right.
So reaching out, grabbing the branch, and using the momentum of my like moving torso, I whip my legs up into this like twirl and crouch, like flip myself up and then crouch on top of the branch.
All right. I don't know if you get that far. You're not knocked from the air by the magic missiles. You're able to grab the branch and keep yourself in the trees. I don't know if I'd say so elegantly. And you take
I am an elf.
14 damage as 6 magic missiles whiz into your side.
14.
14. It was a low roll.
Yep.
How many there are that hit me, and how much it displaced me in the air, I can assume that it would have hurt a lot more if I hadn't have moved.
Maybe. Cutting back to the party on the opposite side of the lake, you guys actually see these white bolts whizzing through the air across the river or lake.
They probably also hear the pops of the bubbles of force hitting me.
Probably not. Like, how the lake is evidently large enough that it takes hours to walk around it, which would imply that this is a large lake.
It's night. It's dark. You can see the
No, no,
light.
no, 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 no. I'm not arguing the light. We would see the light because, yeah, it's nighttime. I'm arguing that we can't hear what's
Correct.
causing the light because it's all the way on the other side of the lake.
Correct. At the most, in like 2 minutes, you're gonna hear little pops that sound like crackers in the distance. Firecrackers. But that wouldn't be instantaneous as the light would be.
Yeah.
You'd probably miss the blinks of lights and then get your attention drawn by the small pops like minutes later.
The blinks of light are going to be more attention grabbing than the pops. We would just
All
assume those are
depending on
branches
where you're
cracking.
facing.
I'll do the
If your back
description.
is facing it, you could
Whatever.
immediately
The
miss it.
DM said we saw it. We saw it. Okay, moving on.
It's a whole lot of moving on.
Well, we caught ourselves in pedantry loop. I was getting out of pedantry loop. Moving on, I had to ponder exactly how my character would react to seeing those, and it would be like he doesn't know anything about the shit on that side of the lake. So, Berta,
Hmm?
do you know what might have caused that?
She stops for a second and ponders it. Either some sort of ward, perhaps a spell. Could even have just been fireflies.
That definitely wasn't a torch. Torch would still be on. It also looked like it was in the trees, or ended in the trees, which means
Probably
the
magic.
tree it landed in would be on fire right now. Right now, there's oh fuck, what the hell? I closed my character sheet tab by accident. Whoops. There
Isn't
it is.
that the side of the lake that May said she was going to set a trap on?
I don't remember where. Hold on.
No one
Yeah,
was given.
I don't remember if May told us where the traps were. Did she?
I believe with the debrief, I was saying like the exact location of the traps that I wanted to lead the captain through.
I know you said the
So you
far
guys
side of
know.
the
Yeah, but
lake.
yeah, okay. But did you tell us where in relation that was on the lake in a way that we would actually know?
In character, yes, but like outside
Okay.
character, I was just like I
Yeah,
held
no,
them.
that's fine. All that matters here is in character, not what
Yep,
you as the player said.
yep. So you guys should know where the traps are
Uh huh.
because that was the plan. It was to walk him through them,
Uh huh.
or at least to let to take care of his guards and then lead him through that trap.
Right.
Hold on, let me get my bearings. Yes, I suppose it was. What do you make of it, Zephyr?
Mm, I don't know, but May had been gone for a while by the time we left.
That was part of why we left, yes. Also, out of character, do you have spellcraft?
Do I?
Yes, check your sheet.
I don't believe
Well,
he
I
does.
don't know that you have it, but yes, that is the
I,
question. Check your sheet.
I don't.
Okay. So wait, is spellcraft even a thing in this?
It's some of the classes have it, yeah, or at least a variant of it.
Yeah, like spellcraft isn't a skill anymore. Like you're supposed to be able to. Oh, okay. I guess it was just wrapped into Arcana. You have Arcana, right?
Technically,
Uh,
yes.
yes, I
No, I
do.
meant the skill. Yeah, you can totally roll Arcana here to identify that that was Magic Missile.
19.
Yeah, you know it's a magic missile.
I don't know.
No,
Okay,
you know it's a magic missile.
okay. So
No, just he was starting a sentence and then
Okay.
rethinking it.
that looked an awful lot like a magic missile going off.
That was several bolts. Was it just one casting?
It might have. It certainly looked like it. You don't think May's in trouble, do you?
He says. May has been gone for over an hour and a half. She is in trouble. We don't know where she is. If those were magic missiles, unless there's some. Sorry, distracted by the face that the avatar is making. Unless there's something in the woods that can cast magic missile, that's the Inquisitor, which means she's on the other side of the lake.
Erda tells you that if you continue the normal way around the lake, you can get there before the path emerges if you keep up a sprint, potentially beating them there, or we could loop around and try to catch up to them.
Dahak, what do you want to do?
We'll be fastest on the path, but the point being, it takes hours to get around, yes?
Right, that's why I said running.
Because half of that with haste.
She'll be dead by the time we get there, regardless of what we do.
Hang on.
May as well switch back to May then.
Okay. So, Matt, you managed to keep yourself in the trees as you hear the witch hunter actively break that arrow and pull his leg forward. It's your move.
After he broke it, does it look like he is continuing to blink for his movement?
Yep.
Well, he either has a very strong fortitude or this thing is an automaton.
Or, he's just a good spellcaster, which, considering he had 6 bolts, has already been established.
Yeah, but he got shot in the ankle.
Uh-huh. Concentration checks are a thing.
I know. So I'm going to use my move again to jump to the next tree, and after I get to the next tree, I'm going to shoot for his other ankle.
So from your current position, you're going another tree?
Yep.
All right. So you make the leap. That's your movement and bonus. And you get to the other tree.
Then as soon as I land, I whip around into his other ankle.
Ah, damn it. I should have made you do this while we were waiting for Merrick.
Roll to hit.
In fact, I still can.
No advantage, so no sneak attack this time, right?
Retreat. No sneak attack this time. Okay, I will give them that. Give me a second. Roll the hit, not stealth.
All right, so it's just it's only Hunter's Mark extra damage. That's fair enough. That would be 9 points of damage.
Is the camera connected to the cage?
Yes and no. It's connected to a pipe that's connected to the cage.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just like on a table or something that's adjacent to the cage.
That's also true because the cage is on a table.
I mean, if
Besides,
it's connected to the cage, it doesn't really matter where the cage is.
True.
Don't be talking about my room.
I mean, we're just shooting the ship while we wait for you to get back.
There's 12 windows in it, and a couch,
What the
a
fuck?
big old TV, and a PS5.
You counted
No.
the windows?
Yeah, all of them.
I
Anyway.
mean,
Wait,
my
what do you
grandmother
do?
did throw
Since-
firecrackers at his head through it, so I'd believe that.
Always gotta
Since
be aware.
we have switched to entirely out of character, I was thinking on it. If Zephyr's not coming with us, I'm not going to bother bringing Dahak, but we can address that in post-session shit. Just wanted to give you a heads up.
Well, apparently the next time that we all hang out together, Sakra's calling the couch.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Stop apologizing.
Okay.
You don't have control of when your mom decides she needs your help
Lil.
or whatever.
Yeah, what was your roll to hit?
Ugh. Oh, duh. I forgot the roll to hit. 2 hit,
Okay.
it was. Well, I mean, I already rolled, and what was it? It was an 18 to hit.
Wait, what did Dahak and I agree to do?
We didn't
held
agree
off.
to do anything. You left, so we switched back to May.
That way it's not killing any time.
Yep.
So real quick then, May, your bolt misses this time, or your arrow. He goes to cast a spell on you. You don't have to make any save or do anything. You blink as a light envelops the area around you, and you find yourself inside of a tower.
Oh. Is it a familiar tower?
It is not. It is a stone brick tower that appears to have no windows, although it is furnished. You see a bedroom and some chairs and a fireplace in your immediate vicinity, and a roof above you.
Still panicked, I look around, realizing I'm in a room, and then kind of just straighten my posture and just stand there in the middle of the room.
Alrighty, I'm gonna hold there for a second again, jump back across the lake. As you guys are sitting across the lake, figuring out what to do, you see a large tower appear in the middle of the forest that shoots up into the sky. It's about 10 stories tall. You notice it
Oh.
because the moon's behind it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, do we notice it? Does, like you said, it made
is?
light for her, but
Yeah,
okay.
you see its silhouette.
What the fuck is going on over there?
Yeah, I have a feeling that that's where the witch hunter is.
We need.
That is certainly where the witch hunter is. You can roll Arcana on that.
16.
It's hard to be 100% sure what spell it is, but you know that that is a magical summon structure. That it happens to appear based on the user's intent. You can't really make out any features of it from here, though it's hard to know what his intent was, but you know that it's a magically created tower.
Union
Yeah,
contractors hate him.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
tell-
It's funny.
Yeah, I tell Dahak as much.
If he's chasing May, that's clever. Trapping her in an area that's not favored terrain.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that clinches what's going on the other side of the lake. How fast can we get there, Erda? If we go the fastest possible way, I don't care how.
I could burn another haste spell, but
How fast?
10, 20 minutes?
Would my character know that it is abnormal for somebody to do 6 missiles at a time?
It's not abnormal. It just means it was
Yes, it
casted at
is.
a higher level.
it is abnormal. Like, yeah, like you get more because you're casting at that, but normally it just makes 3.
There's not a lot of people that's able to do this amount of magic and high level magic as well in the realm.
Yeah.
Whoever this guy is, he's fucking scary.
Well, do we want to save your husband, or do we want to die trying to save May? It's up to you two.
Can I just reiterate, like,
No, you're
the
not
whole
there.
point? I know, but it was my plan to distract to begin with, so
Your plan,
that would still
the
be
plan,
raw in your guys' head that I was meant to be the distraction.
the right. The plan was to distract the town guards. The plan was never to distract the Inquisitor.
And on top of that, they only knew you were going to go get your stuff. They didn't know that you were trying to distract the witch hunter that second.
Yeah, like I don't think we ever agreed that you were going to distract the witch hunter. I don't think the witch hunter entered the equation until after you left.
Until
Like
I
we didn't find
had no choice but to run
Yeah,
right.
but they don't know
and
that.
We didn't
not lead
right.
them
We
towards
didn't
the
we didn't
party.
know the witch hunter was a thing until after Merrick discovered the room was in shambles. So we couldn't have possibly planned for the witch hunter. Anyway, yes, you opted to be the distraction, which, with the threat we were assuming, didn't mean you were going to die. From what he's seen here, the Hawk is assuming you're going to die. To be fair, there's a likelihood of us dying if we go back to Kavzar, so he's just asking, how do we want to die? Trying to save you, or trying to save Erda's husband? Vote, please.
I say we save May.
All right, looks like I'm gonna try my hand against the witch hunter.
Haste us.
He casts haste, and you guys race down the deeper forest path. May, you're in this room. You said you just stand there?
I want to look around the room. I want to know what's in it.
All right, so in your immediate vicinity, there's, as I said, a bed, chairs, a chest, and a magical fireplace. You
I'm
know
gonna
it's
check the chest.
magical because it's a rainbow fire.
I want to check inside the chest.
The chest is locked.
You said that there was a bed.
There
Is
is a
there a
bed.
table or a chair?
There is
Ah,
not. There's a chair, but there is not a table. There is not an end table.
break the
Window.
chest with the chair. You don't care about anything that's in here.
Is there a window?
There is
No.
no window.
Door.
There is a door.
Hmm.
Come on, you want to break that chest open.
I want to try to pull the chest out from next to the wall.
Oh, please be a
Uh,
mimic.
Shut up. As you grab the handles of the chest to pull it, you feel your hands grip these gooey handles on the side. It is a mimic.
Have I alerted it?
You have. It begins to shake, and you feel your hands kind of stuck.
Not my hands, my gloves. I just take them off and slip them off of my hands.
All right.
What size is the chest?
It's like a mm,
Size
2 foot
category.
wide,
Just give a
small,
category.
small. It's a small boy.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to kick the door down.
All right, you lose your gloves, but rush over to the door. The door, as you kick it, opens with ease, and you see a staircase that goes down, what appears to be another door.
No staircase that goes up, even though this building was described as 10 stories, and I wasn't that high up to begin with.
You are that high up now.
Remember, magic.
As I
Don't
des-
have to explain shit.
as I
It,
described the room the first time, the roof was above you. You could see the inner
well,
beam.
it's the roof of this room isn't inherently the roof of the entire tower. Now
True.
she knows she's at the top of the tower.
I want to hitch my grappling hook onto the bed and use it as an anchor to just drift myself down the rope.
Is that needed? There's a staircase.
Yeah, but I don't want to use the staircase.
I think that's
I
your
don't
only
know.
option, though.
Mm,
I don't know if they're trapped or not, so I'm just going to jump down in the middle of the spiral staircase.
Okay, and you're using the grapple hook as like oh, this is my safety line.
Yup, and
Okay,
if I pull the bed with my weight into the doorway, it keeps me safe from the pursuing mimic that probably has a lot more speed than me in this environment.
maybe.
The
You go down the stairs. The stairs do not change as you land upon them, and you make your way down to the next door. The next door is also open, like it's
What's
unlocked.
outside?
You open it and you find another room, similar in size to the room above. You find a study with a desk, book, a bookshelf, ink, and parchments on the table.
No
is the
windows.
mimic following her?
Mm, can't tell from here.
Okay.
For the description, the stairs go around the outside of the rooms, spiraling down this tower. So yes, upon the other side of the entryway to this room, there is another set of stairs.
I was under the assumption that the spiraling staircase had an opening in the middle of it.
It, yeah, like it doesn't. From the description he gave, it sounds like there's the way the tower works is there's a central cylinder, and then the stairs are between the outer wall cylinder
Yep.
and these rooms.
And the
So
doors are
then
in between.
doing that whole bit with the anchored grappling hook on the bed is useless
I
and
mean,
Correct.
pointless.
it's not if you assumed that the stairs were going to fall out behind you and force you to slide.
Did they?
They did not. But you were worried about a trap. You took a precaution.
She was worried about a trap that she misperceived as being a possibility, is the thing here.
Well, I mean, I thought that that's what they would do, but I also thought that they would also sink into the wall and open up a death pit trap fall thing.
Thing that you're taking a lot of time as you jump back and forth between thoughts. It sounds muffled, but several floors below you, you hear a door open and close. And you hear the tapping of heavy set boots.
Yeah, and there's no windows anywhere in this tower,
And this
correct?
is the only. This seems to be the only two floors that I can access. The one that I just spawned in, and the one that's here.
There's a staircase that goes down to the next floor. It just keeps spiraling around in between each room that you enter. There is two doors across from each other. Then it goes down to the next one and does it again
Right.
and
The more
again.
like the oh, okay. So I asked if there were windows because I wanted to clarify that you are trapped and the only way you have to go is down. Yes?
Yep.
Yes. The tower is completely customizable, so he made it without windows.
And
Makes
apparently with a
sense.
mimic.
I was just yeah, makes sense. I was just verifying. The trap here is the fact that you have to walk towards him if you walk anywhere.
My only chance is to just keep going downstairs.
I mean, the less levels between you and him, the well, honestly, it's probably best that you meet him in a room, because then you have more room to try and run around him and just keep running down the stairs.
I can also ensnaring strike unless he has the ability to dispel the magic, which seeing this tower, I immediately assume that he does.
He
Because
has the ability.
he was able to just freely and nonchalantly throw this at me.
Yep, he's a witch hunter. He has shit like this pre-prepped for this exact scenario.
I'll be honest, I just thought this one was a cool use of the spell.
Whatever. It doesn't change my point.
No, it doesn't.
So, I'm guessing there's more powerful magical effects than third level that do dispel magic, but the way dispel magic works, it can only counter something that's third level or lower, but I imagine that's all you have. Either way,
If you cast at a
unless
higher
he
level, it also increases the level slot check for that.
cool. Either way, the way dispel magic works is he's required to cast it, and that uses an action, so unless he has dispel magic prepped, like I don't know if meta magic feats are even a thing in 5th edition, are they?
There are enchantments that let you just safeguard place it, like Glyph of Warding.
Cool. I would imagine those require pre-casting as well. Also, I was asking Dylan, does metamagic quicken spell exist? I
It
don't know.
it does, but it's a specific sorcerer class feature. It basically allows the sorcerer to build into a nuker.
Okay. Um so the point being here from a player's perspective, I don't know how much of this you think May would know, but I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that dispel magic requires him to take an action.
I'm aware.
Like the no, I'm talking to May. Sorry, should have made that clear. So you ensnaring him, I imagine there's also a save involved there, and this guy's high level, so he might just not get ensnared at all. But if you're operating under the assumption that he gets ensnared by your spell, it will require an action from him to desnare himself, regardless of how he does it. So that can free up enough time, at the very least in theory,
I'd have to
but
hit
that is an
him
option.
first in order to actually use Ensnaring Strike, because it is a reactionary spell that I can cast if I hit a target.
Okay. Either way, that's still a spell unless he's enchanted himself to be immune to that type of shit that you can use. I'm just trying to point out that that is a
Yeah,
option. Not not the best option, but I don't think any of your kits uh, options are the best here because we're level 7 and this guy's like level 15. I don't know. Like we figured out from the last one, he's at least level 13.
well, the next action is yours, May.
Bah.
Ah,
You're in a
blah.
creaky tower and you just hear the footsteps below you.
Well, with my quiet footsteps, I'm going to keep running down the stairs.
Alrighty. You head down into the next room. You go
I'm
right
not
in or
going.
just
I'm not going into the rooms. I'm just going to use the stairs.
You
huh?
can't.
I mean, he can completely blow off the room and just head right to the stairs again. It's fine.
Well, the way the tower's set up, to my knowledge, is you have to go down the stairs, go through the room, then go down the next set of stairs.
Because the doorway across
Yeah.
the room it leads to the next set of stairs.
Yeah, so you can't. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. You're just running from staircase to staircase and ignoring whatever's in the room. Got it.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Unless I'm stopped by something in the room.
I mean, does a table in the middle of the room stop you?
Nope.
Then no.
Yeah,
Uh,
unless there's a thing physically stationed in the room that actively tries to stop May, she's just gonna run through these rooms.
If I get Dark Souls bossed, something that I actually have to deal with to clear the way for me to progress forward.
You
all right.
already have been Dark Souls
So
boss. This whole thing is the fight arena.
you go down 2 rooms. You go quickly through a kitchen and through a lounge. As you reach the lounge stairs, you hear the door in the floor below you open. So
What does the ceiling look like?
in here, there is each floor is wooden, and then above you, there's a few beams directly against the floor that hold up the floor per each level.
I'm gonna get right flush up against the wall that connects to the stairs. And I'm going to take out my daggers and jump up and stab them into the rafters and make myself as flush to the ceiling as possible. And
Acrobatics
then,
check.
and then because I'm up there, if I
Well, if this
succeed,
check works.
acrobatics.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really all that high. Let me check. 15.
It is not high enough to hold yourself up there. High enough to get up there.
I'm gonna put my legs into it, trying to swing up to the rafters so that I'm like trying to get as secure against the ceiling.
Athletic check.
That's a natural 20.
All right. It takes you a moment. You make a little more noise than I think you'd personally like to doing this. You do not immediately being able to pull yourself straight up. The room was probably just a little too high. You manage to pull yourself up and lock your legs into little corners that allow you to stationarily lock yourself.
Just so long as I'm out of sight from the door.
And now I'd like you to make a strength check. No bonuses, just strength. As you
12.
said, you're using your daggers as leverage. So the daggers help hold you up. And your strength is a 12 to hold up. How much do you weigh?
Not that much.
Do you have an exact weight? I should have listed it on your character sheet. Or your
No.
personal description.
All I have is
There's
age height.
also
Oh,
the
wait, 85.
Yeah, there's also the weight of your equipment, which matters here too. So you weigh 85, and then there's all the stuff you're carrying.
Considering your bag, yeah, you're able to hold yourself there, though not for long. You will actively start to feel yourself slipping in a minute or two.
Yeah, she doesn't have to hold herself there for long. This guy isn't. Well, I don't know if he's going to be able to correctly assess that the noise he heard was her doing this. So this guy is probably not going to take more than a couple minutes to reach her.
You hear his footsteps clambering on up the walkway, stairwell. As he comes to the floor, You see that he waves his hand over each door as he closes it behind him. He stops in the room, takes a big
Before he
sniff.
even turns around from, you know, closing the door, so that he doesn't even have the chance to wave his hand in front of the door, I want to drop down on top of him with all of my weight, trying to trying to push him into the ground. But if he doesn't shift his posture, I'm just gonna use my knives to stab him in the neck, right in the shoulders. Just boom, slamming with all my weight into him.
Roll to hit, not advantage.
Does she get sneak attack damage if she hits?
If she hits.
And I'm rolling with my daggers, which are the
The really good daggers, yes.
yep, the 2d6 plus 5 to hit. 17.
Miss.
Ooh.
Does he crumple from the sudden weight or what? Like, how does he actually react?
So
Because
as you fall down his backside, he's doing this little twist, which just causes you to miss the knives going into his shoulder. However, you coming down right behind him as he's trying to close the door shoves him forward. And he
Into the
goes
door or into the
forward
room?
into the room.
I'm going to use my movement to just quickly go through the door, slam it behind me, and then run down the stairs.
All right. You begin to haul ass down the stairs as you actively hear him recovering.
One thing.
Hmm?
Once I get to the next room, I'm going to shove the door closed, and I'm going to ensnaring strike it.
you
Funny you say
are
that.
assuming that you can even open that door.
Correct. You get to the door. Door is locked. He was
I
going to
kick it.
lock each door on the way up. Make a strength check.
Never mind. I'm going to stab the door with the tips of my knife. Try aiming for the hinges.
You're gonna have to make a strength check here, regardless of how you go about this.
I place my hand against the door and cast Decompose.
The door decomposes. It turns into an arcane powder and drops to your feet.
I run through the archway.
You run through the archway into. Let me just note the room. Bathroom. You book it around a magic brazier in the center of the room and make it to the next door. It's also locked.
I go over to the tub, shove as many towels as I can into the thing.
Don't
I
think
go
you
over to the
have that much
toilet and do
time.
the same thing.
Don't
Go
think
over to
you
the
have that
sink and
much
do the
time.
same thing. And
Wait,
then
what
I
are you
just
doing?
make all the water on. I turn all the water on. I flush the toilet several times and I turn on the faucet of the bathtub. Run over to
You.
run over.
Okay, hang on a sec. That's several actions and feet of movement.
Like, I don't think you're actually being a wet bandit, right?
Yeah, so you start running around the room and grabbing all these towels and clogging the drains and turning everything on. As you hear him come down the stairs and he just stands in the doorway and watches you.
I just look over my shoulder, elbows deep in the tub, shoving this towel into the drain, just stare at him.
So this is shit you're actually doing then?
Yeah, yeah.
He watches you for a second.
Oh, uh,
So you start turning on the water, run into the next one, flush in the toilet.
Where do you want that gay rat, Mega?
Hi, Mega. Yeah, where do you want the gay rat?
mm.
The water immediately starts to flood onto the floor.
The moment that the running water starts to produce, the sound,
No, it's fine. I'll put it on the boobs for you. I know
I
you won't.
was gonna
Aw.
say you can give it dealer's choice, yeah.
Mm,
Have boob rat. Oh God, that rat got right in there.
Whatever.
To distract him, I cast dancing lights in his face and then run towards the door to cast decompose.
As you cast decompose, he casts shape water.
Shit! I didn't think of that.
As the water on
Yeah,
your
why did
boots
you?
freezes to the floor.
Oh no!
Yeah, like there's a
I
reason I
didn't
thought you were
do that.
joking about doing this. It wastes a bunch of time and gives you basically no benefit.
I was hoping that it would cause difficult terrain.
It would
I
cause
didn't
it
realize he had
right
shape
for
water.
you too, dummy.
You hear his sword unbuckle as it pulls out of his sheath and he begins to approach you. As you actively fight to break the ice on your feet. Strength
Don't
check.
have boots. I don't have boots. These are bandages
-2.
on my feet.
Strength
Shit.
check.
5.
Yeah,
Five.
Actually, no. That's 7. 7.
yeah
No, no, he
Not
said
you're
even.
not
-2,
moving.
so 5 was correct.
No. I rolled a 9.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
So
okay, so 7. Still not
yep.
enough. This at about this time, the party is arriving near the tower. As he goes to make an attack, Erda reverts to human form and casts Dispel Magic at 4th level on the tower. And he's going to
Wow.
roll to hit. May, does a 22 beat your armor class? I know the answer already. I'm just being polite.
But does it beat Tarragon's?
Are you,
Because he's right on
He
top of
was
me.
are you gonna tell Tarragon to block it? Or hope he does?
I want
like if
Hang
Tarragon's
on.
here, which I don't see any reason he wouldn't be here, why didn't you just tell Tarragon to attack his face the moment he entered the room?
Bonus action required.
Yep. And I used all my bonuses to just do what I just did.
Hmm.
So would you want Tarragon to take that for you?
In character, no. But out of character, it would make sense if he slashes me
Positive or
and it
negative?
hits Tarragon.
What?
Positive or negative?
Are you Brandon Lee Mulligan me?
I'm rolling emphasis dice. Positive or
Bruh.
negative?
I thought I was supposed to roll them in the furthest one away from 10.
Positive or negative?
Fucking answer the question.
Negative.
Alright, roll them.
What does that even have to do? Like the
Roll your dice and he will tell you.
I want to see if Tarragon wishes to protect you on
3.
his own.
3 is the furthest away from 10 because the other one's a 12.
Tarragon does not. He does get ready to attack, though, on your command.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Tarragon.
Well, he has to wait for your orders.
Yeah. Him dumb animal.
Being said, he shoves a sword through your hip, and it deals you 16 points of piercing damage. You are not weak to silvered weapons, correct?
No,
Naturally, at least.
unless being
It's
warped
neither
form.
or. Right. Like it's neither or.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he stabs you, and at the same moment that cuts into you, he probably could have done a lot more damage, but suddenly the tower disappears from under your feet.
And how high up are you two?
They are on the 3rd floor.
Oh boy.
So
So they
probably
both
right in the
take...
tree that was here originally.
You know what? Yeah, that's fair. Make a deck save.
Within my deck save, can I use my feet to kick him away from me?
No.
But when, like, being displaced and having both of us in the air,
You can do one thing or the other. You can make a deck save to catch a branch, or you can kick him away. You can't do both.
Yeah,
You
you were
weren't
just
prepared for
rooted
this
in
to happen.
place. And you were just
I'm
rooted in
an
place, so you don't really have the reaction to do it. It's either save
yeah,
yourself or
I'm
take the hit.
As soon as my feet are free from the invisible floor that just got swept out from under me, I'm going to raise my knees up to my chest and then drop kick him.
All right. You kick him and this sends him flying back, and you both take 6 points of falling damage.
Also, is the sword still stuck in her hip?
No. It would have been if the tower did not get deleted.
Yeah. I was just like considering that threw a monkey wrench in his plan. I wasn't sure if he was still holding the sword after this or not, and he is. Noted.
That's a fair assumption.
As the tower disappears and both of them fall to the ground, neither of them able to catch themselves, mainly because you chose to kick instead of save yourself. With a thud, you hear them. The witch hunter begins to stand up and turns toward the new arrivals.
Oh,
The
wait,
rest
no.
of the party finally gets a good look at them as you see him and Meg, collapse and pick themselves up. He is wearing a wide brim hat with a little feather on the top, a heavy, I would imagine, like the
I don't care. I cast blindness deafness on him.
okay.
Jeepers creepers.
Like, we have an extremely limited amount of time here, folks. It's nice that you're trying to give us details. He makes a constitution saving throw. Actually, oh, I can cast that. Alright, target an additional creature for, oh. Nope. Casting it higher makes it more targets, not a
His
harder save.
save is 15.
Okay, so, nope, of course it doesn't tell me how to calculate the, oh, wait, hold on. Do I have that on my character sheet?
You should.
Yes, I do. Hold on. That's probably enough, unfortunately.
We have limited time.
11. Yeah. That's one above it. Unfortunately.
Doesn't that mean that he fails it?
No, he passes.
You cast a spell at him, and it flies at him like a mist, and he just immediately starts to wave it away. Unfortunately, it didn't really matter. As he gets ready to cast a spell at you, his mimic from the top floor drops down on his head.
That was all the way at the top.
Yeah, it took longer for it to fall on you guys.
Oh my god. Oh jeez.
Combat happens in the span of seconds.
Wait, what about the water? It just makes everywhere around here wet.
I mean, technically, yes. So this giant splash of water just comes down. The mimic falls. It lands on top of him, and the immediate shock of both of it kind of stuns the two of them. Erda suggests running. Running as fast as you can.
I'm
So-
getting up, and I also concur.
Okay, yeah. Like, the only thing I was going to add was potentially running over to deal with that. But anyway.
I mean, you can if you want to. I won't stop you. He's
Well,
just making the
no, like
suggestion.
running over to pick her up, but she's getting up on her own, so it
Oh.
doesn't matter.
I would be like in the animation of standing from being on the ground. So if you want to come over and help me, that's all right.
You're getting up. The reason he would help you is if you weren't getting up. Like, he's gonna stay where he is until you reach us at least. That's it.
Either way, running.
Mm-hmm.
The party still has a few minutes of haste, so they will be outpacing for a little bit, but May has nothing currently limiting her, so she should be able to keep up with, not like keep up, but like stay somewhat in pace because not fit, terrain.
Cool. I just realized something. I got a reaction. May got a reaction. Zephyr got no reaction.
Zephyr, did you want to do something?
The answer is yes. Cast a highest level
Yeah,
magic missile at him as you can.
Whatever he wants.
yeah. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna hit him with a Eldritch Blast.
Or that, I
Ooh.
guess.
Do you upcast it at all?
He wants to upcast. You want
Upcast?
to maximize the damage he takes
So,
here.
Yes.
or explain so that way
Yes.
it's known for Strahd. In upcast, all spells that do damage you can cast at a higher level spell slot, and for each one it lets you add an additional damage die or multiple depending on the spell.
That's been
Yeah,
a thing
the
even
reason-
before Strahd.
Yes, the reason I said do a high level magic missile as you can at him is there's no chance it misses. He just takes damage.
All right,
Here you
magic
actually have to
missile
hit
then.
him.
It doesn't matter what you do; you can do either. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm just clarifying why I told you to magic missile him. But if you want to blast him, you can. Just know that there's a chance you'll miss.
And Eldritch Blast does
I'll
more
do
damage.
magic missile.
Okay. It's a D4 for each dart. You get 3 darts to start, and for every slot you cast up, you get an additional dart.
Each dart does a d4 plus 1.
So whatever spell slot you choose to expend to cast it, add the necessary additional darts. But no, I was explaining so that when we go to Strahd, it's known out front because I didn't realize that the upcast wasn't known to Merrick.
Nothing's known to Merrick.
I know you
He
said
doesn't know anything about anything.
All right, then. Gonna upcast as high as possible.
Okay, we don't have your character sheet in front of us. What's your highest spell level?
4.
All right.
So you can add 3 darts
No.
to it.
Wait, yeah, you can already cast
No, wait.
level spells. Yeah, no, like the
No,
level
wait.
of...
I mean 2.
Oh.
Okay.
So if
That
you
makes
add a second level, you're adding an additional dart.
Yes, so it's 44 plus 4 damage.
Okay. Okay. I want to say 3 6s and a 7.
Okay, you rolled 3 3s and a 4. That's fine. Like, we just need the total damage. Either way, that's
No, wait.
18 plus...
2. No, 3 6s and a 7. I mean, I rolled.
That's what you
3
said.
2s and a 3. Okay.
3 2s and a 3 is... Alright, so 3 2s, 3, add 4 at the end, not to each one of them. So, anyway, 3 2s is 6, that's 9, so you deal 13 damage.
Nice. These guys are doing a good chunk of damage to him. After you cast Magic Missile, and then the party begins a run, correct? Or we stay? Or double check?
No, like, I just realized that Merrick didn't get a reaction, but both of us did. There's no reason for him not to be able to cast a spell or shoot him or something.
Well, now that he has shot him, the consensus is booking it the hell out of here.
Yep.
Yep. Based on where you guys are in the woods, May, being the one furthest in the rear and running behind the party and knowing what's in this section, shortly after you take off, you hear
No,
him in.
like
What?
I said, I don't move until she passes me.
You have haste, so unless you plan to keep
I don't
haste,
move until she passes me. I want to be the target, not her.
it's not a target.
And we're all together, so you can assume that I pass you. If
Yes,
you
no, like that's my point here is I'm last in line, not her.
Okay,
I
so you're
want to be
going to
the first thing the
purposely
witch
drag
hunter goes
behind.
after, not her. She's already taken a lot of damage.
Okay. I was just assuming that she was behind because she doesn't have haste. So
I
you
keep
stay
pace with
in the
her.
rear.
Yes.
Either way, you hear the odd sounds of combat. May still knows exactly what it is. You hear a roar throughout the trees and the sounds of gunfire. As you guys dash off into the woods.
I still keep pace with her.
That's fine. You guys get to about the end of the haste spell, and second level exhaustion kicks in.
2 levels of haste.
You guys are at that farm spot just outside of town. You know, where you originally found the fingies that set off this whole disaster. With second level exhaustion, which let me just double check the full ramifications of exhaustion again. Because I always get 2 and 3 mixed up.
Yeah, that's fine, but
Conditions. Exhaustion. Speed is now half.
uh-huh. Question.
Hmm.
Like where are the exhaustion rules? I imagine we'd have at least one level of it after running as much as we have, but haste doesn't say you get a level of exhaustion afterwards. It just says that when the spell ends, the target can't move or take actions until their next turn.
They change it in 5e? Oh shit, they did.
Yeah, like
Okay.
haste ending, like there should be some sort of downside to haste ending, but
I mean, yeah,
haste
there's
ending doesn't automatically give us that. Like the three of us, or two of us rather, have been running for an hour plus, so I imagine that has exhaustion or
it's forced
something.
haste. It's forced haste that causes exhaustion.
Yep.
It's when you don't accept it. You accepted it. Erda would
Okay.
be the one suffering anything from it, as overexertion of spell slots. Hers is for a different reason, though.
Also, if you
Either way, your full run.
if you cast it and then immediately lose concentration on it from the person that casted it on you, you get exhaustion.
Yeah. So, anyway, you still have 1 point of exhaustion then, and it would be disadvantage on ability checks.
Okay.
And we're walking into a firing range.
Maybe.
We
Like
No,
heard
the
gunfire.
you are walking into a dead field.
we heard gunfire because the monster that you wisely avoided the last time was awoken by all of the ruckus we were making and is now actively attacking the witch hunter.
Ah,
So the witch hunter is shooting it.
good. My plan worked.
Yep. Just not on the person you were planning on. Initially, anyway.
So you guys make it to the dead fields. You can now see the true damage the rain has caused on these fields as you left Kavzar. There is no field. It is literally a mud pit. The little sprouts that grow up are completely black and look as if they don't belong. You can see some of the nearby farmhouses dilapidated. Moss has grown over them, and it looks like no one's lived in them, even though you saw people in them as you passed it the first time. You guys make your way into the city of Kavzar after your brief walk in. Unless you guys continue to run.
No. The
Okay.
the running part was because
Witch Hunter in haste.
yeah.
Just making sure if we're still.
So we made it to the gate.
I don't want to get more exhausted, thanks.
Okay.
We made it to the gate.
Yes. You guys make it
Yes.
to the gate. Looking in on the city, you can see several carts full of people in the entranceway of the city. You know, all those
Do we
carts
see
that
any
left.
guards?
No.
Then he makes a beeline for wherever the prison is.
Are these carts of people empty? Or are there actual, like, people, civilians here?
The people that left Toboro 2 days ago. That is
If
who this group is. Some of
if
them
he
seem to be resting. Some of them seem to be, you know, getting their cart set up for the morning. Because now you guys have traversed the entire woods.
yeah. Oh, actually, I guess that's a pertinent question. What time of day does it appear to be once we are physically inside Kavzar?
Early morning.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Either way, he still makes a beeline for the prison. It's useful for my edification.
Okay. Is everyone in favor? Or is someone breaking off? Or
Yeah, we're all in favor. We're all in favor.
Just to keep Dahak's peace of mind, I'm gonna follow. Yeah.
okay. You guys race through the city. Not fast enough for exhaustion, but getting there. You make it to the local holdery. It's not really a jail. It's just like a set of bars. And you see one of the
Whatever.
only guards in the whole city that's still around. He's standing at the gate.
Who is it?
It's the guard captain. He takes a moment and he looks at you and says, "Oh, where'd you guys go?"
I walk over to him with a smile and put my hand on his shoulder. And then, after a moment, I just kick him in the nuts.
He goes to say, "See, I knew you'd come a toing." And he drops
While
to
she's
his
doing
knees.
that, I go. While she's doing that, I go over to like the gate or whatever the fuck and go inside.
I grab his keys and toss them to you before you get to the gate, though.
Okay.
You make your way over to the gate and you unlock the door as the guard captain is still recovering.
As
Zephyr, do you do anything while they're unlocking the door? And
as this is happening, I do
I
mutter under my breath that he's a fucking coward.
I want to get
I
on
just
top
keep
of him.
I just keep watch.
okay,
I want to get on top of him and bar his arms behind his back with my knee in between his shoulder blades.
what the hell are you doing? You
Kavzar's in ruin, and you're standing here at attention, guarding the only prisoner here. I
what?
should be asking you what you're doing with the citizenry in this town.
What are you talking about? Your guys' lead on the tower just brought peace to the city. I'm just doing my job.
Where are the rest of the guards? Are they still in the tower?
I mean, a handful of them died in the tower. A handful of them are on Play Dr. Alley. I mean, we don't
And you
really
say
have.
that's peace.
We're not actively dying.
This man has been falsely imprisoned. We are here to free him. I will kill you if you stand in our way.
What evidence do you have? Struggling to, you know, deal with May in her position.
At this point, I walk over, pull out my sword, and hold it to his throat. I wasn't giving you any options. I will slit your throat here and now if you don't shut the fuck up and leave us alone.
bites his lip and he stares at the sword.
May leans in and whispers in his ear, I take that as your cooperation. Grabbing his cuffs and putting those cold irons around his wrists, and then standing up.
Thank you for your cooperation, asshat.
I think it would be a very good idea if I never pissed either of you off.
Most likely. Walks into the whatever the fuck you call this building.
You unlock the holding building. Mostly like 2 cells, it's just one door. You make your way inside. There's only one prisoner. You see him directly across from the door, sitting on a bench, staring at the floor. He doesn't even move as the door is open.
Your wife has sent us. You're coming with us.
He looks up at you. You see visible confusion on his face as he tells you his wife is dead.
That was a lie.
I killed her with my own hands.
You killed Erda?
I killed Marion. Who's Erda?
I see she has been duping us. So why did you kill Marion then?
He was spouting heresy. He was stabbing rodents with a green dagger on the floor.
Describe Marion, please.
It gives you a description, and it matches Erda.
I take out one of the wanted posters and unwhip it and show it to him.
Yes, that's... Marion never committed half of the crimes.
I point at the name.
Well, Marion is either a look-alike for Erda, or Erda has been lying to you about her name this entire time.
He's probably just broken from months of being alone. He walks
Was
in.
that Erda talking as the rat, or is she a person now?
He's a person now. There's no one in
Okay.
Kavzar she's hiding from.
Okay.
He looks up at her and starts shaking, confused. As if he's seeing a ghost, he panics, shielding his face. She's come to take revenge on me. Spare me, adventurers.
You were never... You never killed her. That's a flesh and blood person, see? Pokes her. Notice how my finger is not going through her body.
She walks over with tears in her eyes and just embraces him. After a couple minutes of staring at you in shock and then at her, she settles. I didn't kill her?
I'm gonna stand behind her with my hands on my daggers, just staring down at her.
After her short embrace, she turns around to face you two. She looks like she's going to give you a hug when she stops and sees your hand.
Well, she stops and sees May's
May's hand.
hands. Like, I'm not doing anything threatening.
I'm just idly standing there, hands on my knives. Kind of like
Actually, considering I don't fully trust the guard, I would probably still have my sword out, but it's not bared at anyone.
like it's not in a threatening motion, and I don't have like a malicious expression. I'm just have my hands on the hilts of my blades, like I'm just standing there hanging out.
Takes a moment to read the expression and walks forward cautiously for a hug.
I let her hug me if she does.
I start getting the man up if he hasn't gotten up already while they're doing that.
Yep. He still has cuffs on.
Whatever.
Just saying.
Are they? Well, actually, not whatever. This might matter. Are the cuffs connected to anything other than themselves?
So it's legs and arm brace. They are connected, and then they're connected to the wall.
Okay, that matters. I start using all the keys on whatever's connecting the cuffs to the wall.
Roll
If
a
it's just the
d6.
cuffs themselves, then I start undoing the cuffs.
Roll a d6. There's 6 keys on this belt.
3.
You go to unlock it, sticking the key in to see if it'll turn, and you see a bright blue flash that forces you back 20 feet. This room is only 10 feet. It slams you against the wall.
Oof.
How much
I hear
damage is
Taha.
that?
A d4. Let's see here.
Yeah, I hear
Two.
Dahak smack into the wall. Like, everything okay in there?
Oh, hold on.
2 damage.
How much damage?
2.
2. Okay. Ow.
Enough to bite the inside of your cheek a little bit.
No,
Not too much.
That's more than a little bit. I say biting the inside of your cheek isn't like 0 damage, maybe 1.
Erda was hugging you and then kind of jumped back when, the hawk goes flying by. She's
All
in the
right.
middle of thanking you, like, oh. Looks
Not that
down.
great.
So before he hits the wall, I kind of take one of my hands away from my knife and just pat her on the back of the shoulder, and then flinch hearing the oof thump.
Also, to clarify, he would have put the sword back in its sheath to start unlocking because
Yeah.
more hands to fiddle with the keys in the lock.
His chains glow with blue runes.
Well, that's annoying.
I walk over to the key ring that he probably dropped and asked, which of the keys did you use?
I walk back and pick up the keyring by the key I used.
I hold the rest of them and then kind of just try to unlatch that key from the ring.
You're trying to take off the one that failed?
Yep.
Okay. You take off that key. Erda kind of just stares at you for a minute, like, what are you doing?
Your
Making
husband is
another. Sorry, go on.
your husband is chained to the wall. We can't take him anywhere without getting him out of his bonds.
I'm going to attempt another go with one of the other keys.
All right. Roll a d6. 3 is a reroll.
Roll a d6.
Yeah.
3 is a reroll.
6.
You get sent 20 feet. Catching the wall, taking
And to clarify, Merrick,
3 damage.
the others would have had to answer your question, not Dahak, because, pretty sure he would have been too stunned to hear you yelling.
Erda shouts out to you that the cuffs seem to have sent them flying as you hear the second thud of May hitting the wall.
Seeing as my health is low enough, you do hear like a crack and me whimpering as soon
How
as I
much?
hit the wall.
Right, but how much damage
3.
actually? Okay.
Yeah, it's 3, but I'm already in a weakened state.
Yeah.
So, still death gripping the key ring, but also having the one that I use between my finger and thumb. I just hand it to the next person who wants to attempt.
I
While sitting.
Please wait, don't. Ugh. She stops for a second. She reaches into her bag. She pulls out a golf ball sized chunk of warpstone, pops it in her mouth, and casts Dispel Magic. The runes stop glowing. Now try to unlock it.
Dahak does.
Now the key ring doesn't send you flying, but it takes you a couple minutes to guess which key it is.
Well, hold on. Was it
That's
key
nice.
4? Because I rolled 4.
It was 4, actually.
So we literally
Amusing.
we rolled
Rolled it right after.
the we rolled the
Oh
one below it
no!
and
I
above it.
would rather have the she's free to do that, but I would rather still have dispel magic prepared.
Yeah,
This
just in
isn't much
case.
damage we're taking. It's a mild annoyance
Yeah.
for me anyway. You've already taken a decent chunk of right. You've taken
Yeah,
damage. I should heal you.
I think I'm gonna sit here next to the wall, just at the
How
outside
much
of the cell.
damage have you? Right. How much damage have you taken?
I'm at 28 health.
What's your total? I don't know your total.
67.
40 damage.
Okay.
A lot. 39
Heal
actually.
30. Or wait, hold on. How's that restored again? Okay, heal 35. We're 7th level now, so that heals up to 35.
35? Ooh.
Yeah, I just channeled divinity at you.
I'm back up to 63.
As you get the cuffs off of his wrists, you can see that they have left permanent indents on his wrists and his ankles.
Saddening, but not surprising. He's
Oh man,
been in those for what, months?
9
he has
months?
the equivalent of the headphone dent on your head.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It looks. I
Well,
killed her. She's here. He puts his hands on his temple, kind of like crouches back down. He seems mentally disturbed.
well, sir, as we understand it, the guard captain of your hometown is a lying pile of shit. He framed you for murder, not just her, but also a noble, so that he could be sure you were killed because evidently you turned down the position that you were supposed to be taking from him. Also, he seems to have a thing for your wife. That doesn't help.
Looks up. That is true.
Well, actions have consequences, and unfortunately for you, yours were this. Now get up. We don't have much more time to waste. Other guards will show up, and we won't be able to just hustle you out of the city if they do. Chop chop, claps his hands when he says that.
As I'm getting up, I'm gonna walk over to the guard captain and replace the old man with him as he leaves, locking him to the wall.
Oh, okay.
This
By
is
the old
very
man, you meant the prisoner.
unnecessary.
Hmm?
The guard captain,
I'm,
this is very unnecessary.
Just a
uh,
precaution.
well, I suppose I agree that it is unnecessary. I wouldn't say it's very unnecessary.
We
As,
don't want you
as,
running out immediately as we leave.
amenable, go ahead.
We don't want you running out as soon as we leave. So consider this a professional courtesy for how well you've treated us.
Uh, he's treated us okay. You and him seem to have always rubbed each other the wrong way. However, I've had reason to believe you're part of a greater conspiracy. As we've found more information, it seems that no, you're just incompetent. This is your punishment.
Also, it gives us more time to run away before you can call the guards, or what remain of them. So ta-ta! Clasps the chain against his, locks him into the wall.
You see the runes glow on it.
Oh, nice. That reactivated.
I put I separate every key from the ring,
No, just
and
take the
then
keys with us. We're taking the keys with us. Why leave the keys here at all?
I'm not leaving the keys here. I'm just separating them from the rings, and I'm holding on to them. Then as soon as we leave, I'm just gonna throw them into the sewers.
That works.
You guys make your ways back outside. Erda is helping carry her husband.
I'm gonna help her carry her husband too.
Only a few more days,
I'd
honey.
I'd help, but I am under exhaustion, so I think I would be more of a detriment than a help.
Well, you guys are back in the city
Same.
streets. Where do you go from here?
Leave.
Yeah, the Hawk is taking the lead here. He's gonna lead us to where we need to go.
Where is where we need to go?
Well, we're definitely not going to Tolboro.
Like, what are our other options on where we
So,
can leave?
the way the city was built, either you're running into the sewers and going out through the aqueducts up into the mountains to loop around to Toporo without passing any of the main roads. You can go into the mountains and climb over them into the north. You can do the same thing but on the east side of the city, and that'll eventually lead you to heavy forests, the deep wood.
Well, at this point, he would question whether we want to go to the forest or the mountains. We're not going back to Tobero at all.
You know my preference.
I do, but there was also the comet. That's something to do while we wait shit out, I guess. Drugs.
And May, now that he's out in the light, and you can see him and Erda's helping, standing next to them, you can see a black scarf wrapped around his neck.
Oh, right.
A very fine silk.
That's where I wanted an 8, but I guess it's probably still enough to assess his condition. Oh, no, that doesn't reach 10, but still. 9 on assessing his health.
He basically has permanent level 2 exhaustion, and he's malnourished. Outside that, hard to glean anything.
Okay.
It's a very nice scarf you have.
Zephyr, weigh in. Mountains or forest? You're the deciding factor here.
I'd say
Mountains it is.
I'd say mountains would. I'd say mountains would be our best bet for losing any pursuers.
Well,
if you want to lose pursuers, then we're going to the woods. May is the best in the woods, not the mountains.
As you guys start talking about the mountains, Erda tells you that somewhere along points up toward the peak, that one, there is a flat path that leads down the other side. You can make good time, but it'll be a hard way up.
we would probably want to gear up for a winter's trek.
Are the mountains snowy?
They get snowy higher up.
Do we have to deal with the snowy part to get to that path?
That's a good question.
I don't believe so. This time of year,
Alright.
perhaps. You might have to deal with colder temperatures at least. But the path kind of sinks back down the hill before it stays snowy.
So all we'd have to deal with really is the rocky terrain and the probably like the gravelly footpath that we have to deal with.
And considering it's gravel, that would probably hide our tracks well enough to make it hard to distinguish. With
True.
minimal effort, at least, we should be able. Does anyone have a broom?
Broom?
A broom.
I shake my head. But I
All
look
right, then I'm
over to
buying a
like
broom.
wait. I look over to the entrance of the guard captain's place. Is there any kind of like janitorial equipment in here?
The broom.
Yeah, I take the broom.
One of those. Why
I
did this
hand it
over?
to Doc.
Good thing he air quotes pockets that, just affixes it to his back somehow, because that's definitely not fitting in his stuff. With this, we can just brush our steps behind us, and then the gravel will be completely indistinguishable.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Then we should make haste.
As haste as we can make with this poor fellow in the condition he's in.
You start to make your way through the city. Making your way along this specific path, you eventually pass the entrance to the tower. The tower doors
Oh,
are
right.
open
Hold
wide.
on. Wait. Speaking of his condition, he takes May's cloak and puts it over him and puts the hood up.
Good idea.
Before we do pass the tower, there's this thought that's been deep in the back of my mind. Like uh, I want to check something here in town, but I don't know if it would be right of me to separate from the party or not.
Like, we're trying to do this quickly, but considering what's going on here, Dahak's not going to say no to stopping off at the tower, since it sounds like you're not checking something for an extended period.
I don't want to check the tower. I want to go off and do my own thing. Like
And he
I say
shrugs.
this aloud in character, saying like my deal was to free him, and now that he's free, I have to go and pursue my own needs. Like,
That's
I
fine. No, I get it. I get it. He shrugs. If you want to leave the party, that's fine. I'm going to ask that I keep this cloak. It's the best way to keep him hidden.
I nod, and I thank him for keeping me alive for as long as he has.
He chuckles, nods, and gives her a hug. I'll miss you.
Sorry, my headset kept on dying. I had to plug it in real quick.
Gives you a
All right,
hug.
hold on. Can you hear us clearly now?
I should, yeah.
Okay, so all you missed was him chuckling, nodding, hugging you, and then saying he'll miss you.
I'll give him a nice warm hug too, and then go over to Zephyr and give him a hug as well, telling him to try to be safe and to keep his family safe too.
I will. You take care of yourself, May.
And with that, I give like a soft smile and uh start to go into the town towards like the mercantile district,
Hmm.
heading towards Dwalin's smithing stand.
All right. I'm gonna hold you there for a second. I'm gonna say you guys separate at the tower.
Yeah.
So, standing at the tower's gates as you walk past it, whichever way you do choose to go, the gates have been turned open. The fields have been cleaned up. You can see that some of the graves have been restored, and they seem to be setting out for a large party.
That's nice. We don't care.
Okay.
Well, Zephyr and I don't care. May might want to check that out, but that's her business.
You guys make your way through the town. The northern end of town also seems to have suffered a lot of rat issues. You can actually see piles of dead rats in the street being burned by the stray guard here and there. You notice that the guard cover is very lax. Like, there's probably enough to count them on one or two hands in the entire city. Way less than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
They almost pay you no mind as you make it through the city. eventually reaching the outer gates that lead up into the hills past the main aquifer system and the town's lake and dam. They're both nestled in the hill. May. Actually, Zephyr, is there anything you wanted to do before you left Kavzar? Or I forget.
Uh, no,
the
I'm
only
going to like accompany. I'm going to like accompany them up on the path leading towards the mountain.
All right. Do you go all the way over the mountain, or do you stop at some point?
Well, I, 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 I stop to hawk for a minute, and I say, well, I have to hawk. I have to go too. I can't leave my mother and sister in Toboro.
Yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
I mean, you guys could always just meet up on the beach later.
Well, hold on. Oh, wait, no. That was in character, wasn't it? An option. Do you need my help protecting your husband at this point?
Hmm? No, I don't.
Then I'm just going to go back to Toboro with Zephyr. The best of luck to you both. Here, hands her the broom.
She gives you a nod and hands you a bag.
What's in this?
46 platinum coins.
Oh, oh my.
40. What?
She thanks you for everything.
You're welcome. I
Hey,
Well, I guess
okay,
this isn't too much.
once
don't
I
know.
once I regain my like composure, I tell Erda, take care of yourself and your husband too.
She gives you a warm smile. She begins to make her way up the hill. I will note that both of you catch a glimpse of something as they turn away. The man begins to look worried as he looks up the mountain. But she seems to be full of some sense of determination. She bids you well on your travels.
Okay, so
You can do whatever you want with that money.
insight, right? Yeah. 17 insight on the weird look from him.
He seems genuinely terrified of this mountain. I mean, he is an old, frail man at this point. This is probably going to be a very hard climb for him. So you get the sense that there's something more primal fear in the way he's staring at it.
Why are you staring at the mountain like that?
Bad memories of time as a guard. That's all.
Ah. Well, I suppose you should keep that in mind, Erda, if that is your name.
Gives you a nod.
Best of luck to you both. At that point, he waves and heads back with Zephyr.
So where do you two head?
Toboro. That's where his family is.
Which route do you take to Tober?
The one that does not go through Kavzar.
All right.
Hopefully one that keeps us clear of the Inquisitor's path.
That's fair. You'll probably be following the outskirts of the city around Mountain End until you get back to the other path that I mentioned up through the aquifer.
It's fine by me.
So then you'll just get a nice view over the city as it begins to wake up in the morning light. May.
Wait, so it's morning light, right?
Yeah, it's
So we
just
did this
starting
through
to.
the night. Yeah.
May, you make it to Dwellin Stand. You find a sign across it that says out of business, but you hear somebody inside.
I'm very curious to know if the dwarf and that human got to them first.
You'll find out.
I'm gonna step into the doorway and knock on the door.
You knock on the door, but you get no answer. You hear someone in the back cursing as they smash into metal. Just ting, ting, ting.
Uh, is the door unlocked?
It's wide open.
Alright, I walk inside and follow the sound of metal clashing.
You make your way through the back room behind the first counter you always saw the human at. You notice there's a pool of blood on the ground, a little since dried, and the obvious traces of rat feces. Rather large rat feces.
My expression kind of hollows as I go further into the room.
You go a little further in, following the sounds of clanging until you find a bunch of giant dead rodents. These are the size of small chests, scattered about as you continue to press in. Eventually, you make it to the back of the shop. Completely unaware of your presence, you see Dwaland. His body now seems to be covered in tattoos. He's not wearing a shirt, and he's working on a massive battle axe, pouring nothing but hatreds and curses into it.
Oh boy, they killed
What
his son.
what kind of tattoos?
They are blue dwarvish. Outside that, you can't really recognize them, though you swear you've seen similar tattoos not too long ago.
I'm guessing on that dwarf that I gave the note to, or at least his familiar.
I. They are very similar to the dwarf.
Very carefully, I walk over to Dwalin, and as he's swinging his hammer down, I put my hand on his shoulder.
As you go to reach forward, you quickly see him grab the axe and go into a defensive position. As he turns to face you, you can see that he's got large claw marks down the right side of his body, and that part of his beard has been cut short. He looks at you, and then his eyes soften. Shop's closed.
Are they scars, or are they open wounds?
Open wounds that are starting to heal.
I look into my rucksack and realize that I don't have any more bandages, and instead uncoil the sash around my wrist and then start what do you call it? Dampening it with a water skin and then cleaning his wound with it, saying like, "What happened?
It,
Yeah,
take,
what happened to you?"
it takes a minute of him staring at you to realize who you are. His demeanor stays kind of, straight faced, but he eases a little bit, resting his axe back down and letting you tend to his wounds. Hey, about 2 days after you left, giant rats started to plague the city. My son. Just want to kill them. All of them. His hand tightens around the hilt of the axe. As you're cleaning him and kind of looking about him, you can actually identify a set of runes laid onto the blade of the axe. It's Dwalin's name, which happens to also be written in Dwarvish on the sign coming in, and another word, which is very well known to most people in the city in Dwarvish, which is Slayer. putting two and two together, you can assume that Dwaland took up the Slayer's oath to avenge his son. To be a Slayer is to fight until you die. Never-ending carnage in battle to redeem your misjudgments, your sins, your failures. Boy didn't deserve that fate. Little insensitive, but didn't deserve it. None of them.
I've also had someone who had fallen to their hands as well. Someone very close to me who didn't deserve it either. Her name was Miranda, and she was a close family friend of mine. She ran an apothecary in the northern districts of town.
Gives you a nod. Wait,
I run my hand down his pec and hold his wrist where he's holding the axe. Rummaging through my knapsack, I show him the flower that grew, the white buttercup flower that came from their remains after I cast decompose on her.
he stares at it.
This is all that remains of her. I was planning on leaving town and going deep into the forest to find a nice home for her. But before I wanted to leave, I just had to check on you because I felt something was wrong.
Gone for like 2 weeks.
It it felt a lot shorter outside of Kavsar.
He sighs. Can't change the past now.
But we can at least set a foundation for the future. I hold his hand.
Why did you come back?
With the blood-soaked length of cloth that I took from my wrist and cleaned him with, I dampen it with more water, rinse it out, and then tie it around his wrist. And just respond saying, you already know why. Just staring into his eyes.
He puts a hand on your shoulder and he tells you that he's taken a path that you cannot follow him on.
I wouldn't be too sure about that.
It might be a treacherous path, but I don't care. Everyone else in this town that I cared about and were close to me were ripped from me because of them. My parents' graves defiled from their hands. My closest relative outside of blood stapled to the ceiling and watched as thousands of rats erupted from them. This entire town not believing a single word of the plague that has been ransacking it for months now. So, just from the fact that I'm still kicking, gives me enough credit to say that it doesn't matter what path you take, I'm going to follow you.
He asks questionably about the people you say didn't believe you. He tells you that the guildmarm was here a few days ago, asking if I had seen you.
Where, where's Leia? Is she okay?
Her and the rest of the guild headed out into the deep. No one in Kavasar would believe them after you guys left and were unable to defend your claim. Seeing as you should have been back weeks ago, they assumed you were all crazy.
But then the rats. I point towards the corpses, outside of this room leading up
Aye,
to here.
but there's no point in defending the people that don't even believe the hard workers of the town, now is there? And the direction they went, the direction I'm heading.
Well, I just said I was heading that way anyways. I hold the flower pot, staring down at it, noticing that it's a little bit wilty because it's been in my bag for a couple of days now.
Despite being in your bag, it's completely fine. Not
Yeah?
wilty at
That's
all.
That's nice.
weird.
It's called magic.
Yeah, it's
Magic.
called magic, but it's also competing with the magic of. Well, I think she got rid of them after that, but
I think it's because it has a glimmer of her soul, which you can still use Revivify on to just completely reconstruct her.
No, you're past
I
that point.
No?
yeah
Oh.
yeah no, like you making something out of the corpse means you can't use it as a corpse anymore.
But at least it's still like a focus for the soul, even though the soul isn't inside of it.
I
Like
don't
if you're religious, you can pray to it and make contact with her.
I don't know that it is, but now we're getting into esoteric flavor
Don't worry
versus
about it.
rules shit.
Yeah. Let's continue. We don't have that much time.
Yep.
Sahak and Zephyr, if there's anything you wish to talk about on this nice long walk out, I won't stop you. Otherwise, you look over the visage of Kavzar for probably the next 2 hours of in-game walk.
Yeah, we would just be talking about where we're going to go once we get back to Kavzar and charter a boat. That's
Obro,
it, really. Right. Tobro. Tobro is what I meant to say.
Imagining the credits rolling
Zephyr,
slowly as you guys are walking.
Pretty much.
do you have something you wanted to add, Zephyr?
Well, once we get back to Toboro, I think I might actually go with them.
You're kidding, right? That was always the plan. We were going to leave with them, and then we might come back, but I've long since given up on coming back. Tabzar is a lost cause. A bunch of idiots are running
Right,
it, and the rats have claimed it. They can have it.
right. Of course, it's been a long past few days.
I will give them one after stream. Timetable.
Yeah. No, I figured it was give treat anyway. So yeah, that's really all we were discussing
Okay.
on the walk there.
You guys make it to the aquifer overlooking Kavzar. Just in your, bare reach of vision, probably a mile or so away, looking down, you see a dark figure walking the path into town.
A familiar dark figure.
Too hard to tell, but there's no one else on the way into town that you're aware of.
Don't believe I have anything that'll make it easier to tell, but let's see. What war spells I got left today?
I don't. Okay, noted.
All right. You guys begin to make your way down the mountainside, now past the aquifer down into the forest. As you make it down, the sun begins to peek the hill behind you, kind of shining light through, as you make a nice quiet walk back to Tobero. Nothing even getting in your way.
Huzzah!
May,
Bah.
leaving Dwalin's shop, Dwalin at your side, he starts to walk right toward the main gate. No hesitation in his step at all. He knows where he's going. He's going to go find Leah and apologize before he starts to make his epic conquest to death and glory.
After stocking up in his shop, grabbing a couple of daggers and like a grappling hook and rope, I follow him.
As you follow him out of town, you notice a figure coming ahead of you on the trail, dragging a long neck and head.
Oh, you mean we didn't get to see the neck and head? Sad.
As you get closer to this figure, you begin to immediately recognize who it is. It is the witch hunter, and he glares at you with intent. Almost feeling the static in the air, Dwalin asks if you guys have some kind of beef.
That's one way of putting it.
The witch hunter throws this head to the ground and begins walking forward you, a quickened pace to his step.
What kind of creature is this?
This?
Yeah,
A
The
wyvern.
head.
and what kind of creature is he?
He's a human.
Okay. I figured as much, but never actually got an answer before this, and part of that's my fault.
Is the guy walking with a limp?
A light
Should be.
limp. He steps down kind of heavy, but he's definitely not showing it.
I hold Dwalin's shoulder and kind of give him this like knowing look, like thanking him for his kindness and like leading him off to like letting him go without me.
He looks at you concerned. Are you sure?
I'll catch up.
Gives you a nod, and he makes his way past. Taking a moment to stare at the head, he passes the witch hunter, who makes no attempt to stop him.
Oh boy, May just really wants to die alone.
I grab the pearl brooch from around my neck and kind of just rip it, holding it in my palm, and just either walk a couple more feet closer and then just stand there in front of him, waiting for him to approach and to see what he wants from me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure murder's in his eyes. You know what he wants.
He
Yeah, I know,
approaches
but
you. You see his fingers claw out. You can almost see the static of magic run between them. He stops about 25 feet away from you and asks, "Where is the girl?" "I've spent 9 hunts hunting her down just to let her slip away." "Where is she?"
I look at him and then I look over. Then I slowly turn, looking over my shoulder, up towards the mountains, holding the brooch and then pointing out which mountain peak she said that she was going towards.
Did she get her husband?
I give him the key that worked on the cuffs
You
because
threw all the keys in
I
the
threw
sewer.
all but I want to say that I threw all but the one that worked on it because I wanted to make sure that he wouldn't get out.
What have you done?
Upheld the promise.
To a vermin who needs to be extinguished.
I whip out one of the bounty pages, rub my chin, and say, hmm,
Ask yourself, have you never seen her do anything questionable? You just assumed that some girl with high level magic strolled into town one day and knew everything about Ratkin?
it is a very peculiar set of uh,
Circumstances.
no, well, yeah, but also, um, was it listed crimes here? I start reading them off from top to bottom, including the ones in the green text.
He nods as you read them.
Very, very curious why most of these laws that she broke were hidden from the public eye. Unless it was specifically targeted towards a specific faction that has been growing in Kavzar. Something that has had funding from the capital. Something that a man of your prestige and some would say like heretical disposal expertise would already know about, handing him the wanted poster
He doesn't even reach for it.
because he already knows what's on it.
I think you also want to be way more blunt here.
She promised us that she would help us get free from the curse plaguing the city. And as far as I'm aware, she had been truthful up until the point where we let the old man free.
You keep calling him an old man. He's roughly the same age as Erda.
I'm older than him too, but just from the fact that he's human and he looks like an elder.
Does he?
Stop talking about her as if she's a person.
I'm a ranger. I'm one with nature. I talk about all animals as if they're people.
She is not a person. She is not an animal. She is one of the highest sitting members of the Skaven Council, and you just let her up to a chaos altar in the mountains, completely unabated.
You see, when you like that, why wasn't it made public knowledge that there was a chaos altar up there?
dissuade people from going to look at it. Angsty
But
kids would
certainly,
always run up a mountain to see some chaos altar. Don't tell them it's there in the first place.
yeah, but then we wouldn't know to stop people from going up there because we would know how dangerous it is.
He shakes his head at you in disbelief. Are you telling me you're aiding her?
You would be aiding her yourself, just from the fact that you kept information from the public eye.
This choice is not a choice we are allowed.
The negligence of keeping censorship to the public eye is what caused this place to be as bad as it is in the first place. If people knew about the faction that was growing underneath their feet, actions would have been made far sooner than I point back towards the dark side of Toboro. Not
Panic.
Toboro, Kavsar.
Panic feeds fear.
Yeah, and fear promotes initiative. It's an animal's instinct to use its fear to either run away or fight and gnaw tooth and nail against its either against a greater force or in an ability to escape.
Well,
What's up?
around the edge of the building to your side, your left side, you see the rat you made a deal with. As the witch hunter repeats, panic feeds fear.
I Yeah, out of the corner of my eye, I kind of just wince as I see the one I made a pact with. I take a couple of steps closer to the Inquisitor and I ask, but whose fear is it feeding?
He points to the mountain.
If you're so scared, deal with it yourself. I walk around him.
He watches you leave, but does nothing. As you come closer to the wyvern head walking by, not even paying the rat any attention, you can see that this creature's head was torn off by hand.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
not even a straight cut.
Damn.
You can see the broken pieces of its silvered blade in its jaw.
I crouch down towards the animal and rub my hand across its muzzle. And then, if its eyes were still open, I'm going to close them.
Its eye, it has one left.
Yeah.
As you stop and look, you see the Inquisitor begin to make a run into the city. Desperate to stop something, he cannot.
Well, as that discussion got across, they made the shit choice. Like, I know you couldn't have actually altered it, because that would alter the history of this town, but like, trying to keep this all hush hush and on the down low was a fucking terrible decision. I understand keeping things on a need to know basis. If there's an invasion going on, the public needs to know.
Exactly. And not and if it's still need to know, people that needed to know, like the people that were in charge, the council, the guards.
Yeah, it's very, very obvious. No one in Cabs are. Regardless of the level of command, knew what was going on, and that was a fucking terrible decision.
Like,
Oh boy, we got duped by a high-level rat lady? Surprise, surprise. Like, I knew she was lying to us, and I knew she was continuing to lie to us, but without the proper rolls being made, I didn't have an in-character reason to stab her to death.
and
I
sorry,
only
go on.
made the last one of her things completely obvious. She swallowed a chunk of warpstone.
Yeah, I know she swallowed a chunk of warpstone, but I also know, like, May was trying to hide it, but the Hawk would have put two and two together that warpstone is why the weasel is even still alive. Or
It
at the very
is.
least, it's why the weasel looks the way he does now.
Yep.
Yeah.
He assumed she just swallowed it to cast magic. That stuff, while this setting's equivalent of radioactive material, is also magic.
It is.
Before I forget what my thing was, unless I already just did. What was it? What was I thinking about?
Where you're going now?
No, it was about her. The whole point of not displaying her intentions and what the green lettering in the wanted poster says is because I didn't know how integrated into the party she had manipulated everybody else. And if bringing it to everybody's attention, I didn't want to risk her immediately murdering Zephyr's family if the things that it said were true.
Yeah, that's fair, but then
And then
you've
you
made a
kind of
bunch of decisions that I have disagreed with over the course of this, so why stop there?
and the only times that Zephyr's family wasn't in the immediate vicinity of Erda were the times that you walked away.
Yep, yeah, doing a real good job protecting the people you thought were at risk. Oh wait, you never actually cared about them.
Well, I mean, I cared about them when they were within my vicinity of awareness. But then as soon as like I moved away from them, I didn't have to worry about them because I knew people that were around them can take care of it.
Whatever. The campaign's over. Do we want to start pre-planning now or wait for tomorrow?
Eh, I think we should have actual endings to everyone's character. With the exception of May, because May is not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave May right where she is. About
Walking down the lonesome road.
about a day or so later, you guys arrive back in Tobero. You see the guards setting up in large formation to head toward Kavzar. I imagine at this point you're just done with them. You care nothing about them being there. There is nothing that they can bring you in peace or ease. And you make your way back over to the inn. You find your family happily playing with another bread fort. Now, this time they made a bread villa.
Is there a pool?
There is a pool of gravy,
Oh, hell yeah.
and there's little like pieces of meat bread
Nice.
in there, and to be people relaxing. Your sister waves you over, and your mom kind of gives you a sour look as you guys didn't tell us you were leaving. We were almost ready to leave without you.
I couldn't blame you if you did. We have urgent business to attend to. Did you see the guard?
I did.
We had to get we had to get out of Tobero and over to Kavzar to save Erda's husband. It became readily more apparent that that was the better choice than trying to murder the man who wanted to kill an innocent victim.
Yeah. She sighs and relents. It just says it would have been nice if you had said something.
The less you knew, the less trouble you two were in.
Anyway, I heard there's a nice little landing over in the desert right now. The ship that just came in dropped off a bunch of people from over there. That's about to make its return trip. We get ready to go.
He nods.
Looks to
Sounds
Zephyr.
like the best idea I've heard. That sounds like the best idea I've heard in a while.
I'm sure Grandma would love to see us again. I hope you guys got what you wanted in adventure, because a new one's about to unfold. Your sister
I mean, there's a
rushes
lot of
over.
stuff I would have liked to get out of this, but I feel like just switching over to fraud is a much better idea.
Yes. For you guys, anyway, May will stay here in Horrid Land on Sunday.
Oh boy, I
That's
can't
her
wait for the
business.
mountain to erupt into arcane